Welcome back to episode 72 of Winning the Division. I am your co-host, Ryan Smith, alongside former NFL tight end Ben Troupe. Ben, we are one game away from the literal halfway point of the NFL season, week 9, almost in the books. Arizona and Dallas on Monday Night Football happening right now. But as we do every week, first things first segment, our players of the week and not so players of the week. I'll go ahead and let you start us off. Who do you got?
Oh, man, my player of the week is the guy that just got back, man, and kind of showed you what he mean, and that's Lamar Jackson. I mean, you saw what he was able to do on Thursday night. Lamar Jackson is to his team what Josh Allen is to his, and Patrick Mahomes is to his, and Justin Herbert, and so on and so forth. It's how smooth. I know it's against the Dolphins, and I know Smitty, you were saying you think the Dolphins got a shot. I go, nope, not yet until Baltimore kicks the ball off. It was how smooth they played the game. But I must have a number 2, and that would be a one Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold put on a clinic.
Yes, he did.
That was a clinic.
Yes.
And for me, and the way Sam Darnold is playing football right now, because I mean they're taking the pressure off him because they got the run game, they got Jackson Smith, and they got an entire team around him. But I just like the way he's playing. But I'm gonna give I'm gonna give a not team of the week, but another player in a losing effort, Brock Bowers. I mean, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he was everything. Still lost because it is the Raiders. Right. They're gonna find a way to lose. But Brock Bowers is proving why he is the best tight end football. Am I not team of the week? It's the freaking Falcons. Like, dude, what's the point of getting back into the game? And I give it a team effort. I'm not gonna just put it on the kicker. I get it, but it's the Falcons for this reason. No one cares about what happens against the Bills if you can't beat nobody else. You can't beat anybody else. So we'll see what happens. Raheem Morris, Raheem Morris comes out and say to Zach Robinson, I'm not going to get rid of my offensive coordinator. They might be getting ready to get rid of you. I don't know what's happening with you and Terry Fontenot in that front office, but
yeah.
That's so my team is the Falcons. My players of the week, Brock Bowers, Sam Darnold, and they won Lamar Jackson.
That's a good list. As a Falcons fan, I know that it hurts to your core there. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, as a Falcons fan, I know that kind of hurts you, and but it is what it is on that point. Okay, let me go to my team of the week. That would be the Pittsburgh Steelers getting that win over the Colts, 27-20, cooling off those Daniel Jones and those Colts. Daniel Jones is actually my not player of the week. He had 3 interceptions, and I don't want to say he turned back into a pumpkin, but not good for Danny Dimes. He's back to his new old nickname, Danny Dimes. Not good for Danny Dimes. So he's my not player of the week. My team of the week, because of that, was the Pittsburgh Steelers. Peyton Wilson, former NC State linebacker, 14 tackles, 10 solo. Alex Highsmith from UNC Charlotte, my alma mater, 2 sacks for Alex Highsmith. And Aaron Rodgers, 25-35 for 203 yards and a touchdown. But really, not less about the offense, more about the defensive performance specifically against the Colts, and the Steelers getting my team of the week. And again, Daniel Jones, my not player of the week. My player of the week, which I could have gone in a variety of manners. Give me J.J. McCarthy, 14-25, 2 tutties, an interception, 143 yards, and a 27-24 upset of the Detroit Lions. And the reason is not because of his numbers. It's actually because of how much he was doubted. I mean, he was getting slandered left and right in the media this week, and really the last few weeks, really, with Carson Wentz struggling there for Minnesota, which we all knew was probably going to happen anyway. But J.J. McCarthy needed this game. He needed to come in, and he needed to look decent. But getting the Detroit Lions on the road in Detroit, getting the win, that's even better. That is my player.
He was fired up too, as he should be. He was fired up.
He should be. I mean, he was taking so much flack. So J.J. McCarthy is my player of the week there in Minnesota, as he led the Vikings to a victory that they desperately needed to get back to 500. Give me J.J. McCarthy as my player of the week. Well, we'll get into it now. Our Week 9 recap. We move right along here. Ben and I both have kind of limited time tonight, so we'll get right into it. We'll start with Thursday Night Football, which you've already touched on a little bit ago. Miami Dolphins faced off against the Baltimore Ravens. It was the Baltimore Ravens emerging victorious 28-6. Thoughts on there that saw Miami fire Chris Greer the next morning, and it was announced Mike McDaniel will remain through the end of the season there in Miami. I guess, Ben, do you think, secretly behind closed doors, you think Mike McDaniel wants Dolphins to fire him now because they'd be kind of doing him a favor, right? I mean,
I'd never ever say a coach wants to get fired, but I do think he kind of wants him to put him out of his misery because it's rough. Like, Tyreek Hill out for the year. Jalen Phillips just got traded to the Eagles. Defensive end on the other side, of Chubb. And I just think that for this Dolphins team, it's just so much going on. From the defense not being able to live up to a lot of big names, not a lot of big games. Tua has really imploded in these press conferences. Like, what are you talking about most of the time? Either you're saying something you shouldn't say, you're saying something that is ill-advised, or you're not helping the team at all, and it doesn't help that you'll play on the field. But this is about what the Ravens did do and how they limited what the Dolphins did. Lamar Jackson finally back off the injury, 18 to 23, 204 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's efficiency. 204 yards, 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 19 rushes, 119 yards. Zay Flowers, another, and Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers are both Miami natives. Zay Flowers 5 for 64. Isaiah Likely, good to have him back, 3 for 60. Mark Andrews, two catches, 22 yards and a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. I'll take that. Both of my catches were touchdowns. I'll take that. But this is all about the Ravens. They're 3-5, and they're still in the hunt. It's still
Somehow.
9 games. Still 9 games left in the season. But Greer, the general manager, the fact that he's lasted this long, he's been the general manager there for a long time, and they haven't done nothing for a long time. Mike McDaniels and Stephen Ross, maybe Stephen Ross is trying to give Mike McDaniels the benefit of the doubt with the injury to Tyreek Hill.
Perhaps,
I don't know, but this was coming out for a Baltimore Ravens team that needed something good to feel good about getting Lamar Jackson back to the lineup. But the Dolphins team, we talk about a top 5 draft pick easily, and I don't see Tua getting better. People talk about who do you keep, Tua or Mike McDaniel. I don't know, because whoever comes in and gets Tua, they got to deal with his injuries, his health, his concussion, type stuff, and the way he's been playing or lack thereof. So we'll see how crazy the offseason gets for the Dolphins. But right now we got to deal with the circus is in right now is in South Beach, and we are privy, or I guess have to watch this monstrosity take place week in and week out.
Before we go into the Sunday games, let me give you the very quick headlines in case I forget to go over these for individual teams. I'm not going to do all of them, just the ones that are very relevant really quick. The headlines, transactions that are kind of more important. Chargers left tackle Joe Alt getting season-ending ankle surgery. Commanders linebacker, former Panther Frankie Louvu suspended 1 game for consistent hip drop tackles that were banned, obviously earlier this year. We talked about Eagles trading for Dolphins linebacker Jalen Phillips, and then free agent Asante Samuel Jr. given an okay to play after sitting out with spine injuries.
The Jalen Phillips one is the one that stands out the most because he's a guy that could definitely go over to an Eagles team that could definitely use a young pass rusher who's still under his rookie deal. So he's still under his rookie deal. Asante Samuel Jr. not being on the team right now is very, very surprising when you look at what he lacks in tackling in the run game. He makes up for in the pass game, and it's a passing league. They don't play cornerbacks to tackle people. They pay them to cover people, and Asante Samuel Jr. is, the apple don't fall far from the tree. Asante Samuel Sr., his son is just like him. So hopefully somebody will pick him up. And like I said, the one thing I put on X today is season-ending injuries literally happen every week in the National Football League. Somebody goes out for the year every single game. But Joe Alden's the guy that you feel bad about because he dealt with the high ankle sprain and stuff like that. But it's unfortunate. But unfortunately, it's a part of this league.
Yeah. And then the other trade that just happened was the Baltimore Ravens dealing for your former team, the Tennessee Titans, their edge rusher Jermon Jones going to Baltimore in a trade that sends him there.
Wait a minute. Didn't the Ravens trade Jair Alexander? He went somewhere.
And yes, Jair Alexander also got traded to the Eagles. That was the other trade the Ravens made. So Jermon Jones for the Titans also.
And they get a former second all-pro cornerback. Yeah, the Eagles, they going for it.
As a former Titans player, did you have a reaction on the Drummond Jones going to?
I did. I mean, I'm happy for him because he gets to go to a team that's actually contending. But it shows why the Titans are a bad organization, because if you want to leave the Titans, just be a good player. Right now, the only guy we got left that's halfway decent is Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah,
and they didn't trade him because of how much money it's going to cost to pick up that contract. But Tyler Lockett, I mean, even he's going. I think he's back. With the Raiders right now. He asked to be let out of his contract. But yeah, the Titans make bad decisions. That's why they're a bad organization, and teams like the Eagles that make good decisions. You see kind of way you see the correlation. Good decisions, good teams. Bad decisions, bad teams.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the games from yesterday. Whirlwind for me, as for those who don't know, I actually was in Lambeau Field to see the Panthers-Packers yesterday. So I literally just got back not too long ago, not having any sympathy for me, just telling you that this podcast, I'm running on a little bit of fumes. I've been in airports all day and on the planes. The most entertaining game yesterday, let's start there. 47-42, the Chicago Bears over the Cincinnati Bengals. Chicago gets to 5-3. Bengals fall to 3-6 on the year. It was Chase Brown after the game had taken a shot at his own team's defense, kind of saying, "Hey, you kind of blew the game here." But essentially, in Week 8, the Bengals allowed a game-winning touchdown pass by Breece Hall. Ironically, if you remember that to Mason Taylor last week, and then they allowed an opening drive touchdown by DJ Moore to Caleb Williams. The last team to allow a passing touchdown by non-quarterbacks in consecutive games was the 1992 Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, if you love scoring, you love this game. I mean, Caleb Williams, 20 of 34, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, coasting, love him. I mean, 6 catches, 118 yards. One was like a 60-yard touchdown catch. And he should have got tackled, but he didn't get tackled. And then you talk about what Joe Flacco, 31 of 47, 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Chase Brown had a lot to say, but not a lot of production. I mean, 11 rushes, 37 yards, no touchdown. Obviously, he had 8 catches, 75 yards. Here's the thing, Chase Brown. Yes, y'all lost the game. And yes, it's a back-to-back game that you score that many points and you lose the game. You do not get any points with your defense or your team by calling them out publicly. What you feel privately, you speak about privately, and that's privacy of your own home. The same thing like what your D need to do, that's not good. Because now, right, you got these guys walking around, they're going to say all the right things like Hendrickson and company because they are pros, but in their mind, they're looking at each other, dude, who is you? Who are you to say anything to us? Because regardless if we both pros, we don't do the same things. And yes, we came up short, but who are you to talk about if the D was better? Chase, you better make sure you out there. I know you had 75 yards, through the air. Catching, but we need you to do it on the ground as well. So I know it was a slip of the tongue. It happens. Sometimes emotions are high and I say the wrong thing, but you might want to get that right sooner rather than later because you still got a lot of season left. I do not think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to contend, but you at least want to put up a good, put on a good show when you out there on Sundays. But next time, Chase Brown, keep your mouth closed, man. That's what kills the locker room quicker than anything else is not losing. It's people talking. So keep your mouth closed. I know it was you young, you still trying to figure things out, but let's not do that. That's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah. I already talked about J.J. McCarthy. He was my player of the week. The 4-4 Vikings get the win, 27-24 over the Detroit Lions, who fall to 5-3 on the year. J.J. McCarthy joins Hall of Famer Dan Marino and Patrick Mahomes as the only quarterbacks drafted in the first round to win 2 road divisional games over their first 3 career starts since at least 1970.
J.J. McCarthy, 14-25, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Obviously, Aaron Jones had 9 rushes, 78 yards. Jordan Addison, 2 for 48. Justin Jefferson had 6 for 47 in the touch. That touchdown was incredible. I mean, one-handed, kind of like a quick fade. And then, Jared Goff for 25 for 37, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns. They neutralized Montgomery and Gibbs. I mean, Montgomery had 11 for 40 in a touchdown, and Gibbs had 9 for 26, so they neutralized the run game. And Amon St. Brown, 9 catches, 97 yards, no touchdowns. Sam Laporta had 6 for 97 in the tub, and James Williams had 4 for 66. If you want to beat the Lions, you have to pick who you're going to neutralize. If you neutralize a game and you make them one-dimensional, you got a shot to potentially beat them as long as you don't let Amon St. Brown beat you. I love Sam Laporta and what he does. James Williams, I mean, he's a good player, not a great player. They, like I said, they neutralize the run game. Jared Goff, outside of getting the ball to Laporta early, they kind of, I know what Amon St. Brown is, but if he ain't getting in the end zone, he ain't hurting you. People can catch, listen, a bunch of catching for a bunch of yards. A lot of players do that. If they're not getting in the end zone, they're not hurting you. But this was all about the Vikings. I mean, JJ McCartney, it's not his game, it's injuries. He's usually injured a lot. They're gonna have to, make sure they do a better job of protecting him. But that was an incredible win against a Detroit Lions team who a lot of people was looking at and maybe kind of like the class of the NFC, not named Seattle, not named the Bucks, but I think JJ McCartney and company just showed the whole division we ain't going nowhere. These last 9 games of the season is going to be a fight to the finish. And there's nothing. Only thing that builds confidence is evidence. And what is the evidence? Winning. That's what JJ McCartney has done 2 times on the road. And like I said, if you can win on the road, you can win at home. That's a good sign for a quarterback that's dealing with injuries, trying to show his teammate they can depend on him to be out there on Sundays.
Let's get to the Carolina Panthers. 16-13 victory over the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. Carolina improves to 5-4 on the year. Green Bay falls to 5-2-1 with that tie they had earlier against the Dallas Cowboys. This was Panthers win over the Packers on Sunday. First in Green Bay since 2008, ending a streak of 16 years and 337 days in which they did not win in Lambeau. Micah Parsons did not record a single pressure across 21 pass rushes in this game. It was his first career game without a pressure. He faced double teams on 28.6% of his pass rushes, his second highest double team in the game this year. Ben, I'll let you take this one, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts after you're done, kind of someone who was there, and a couple of things that I noticed in person and just your overall thoughts, and then we can move on.
This was about 3 things. Mentality, Rico Dowdle, and the defense. If you look at what he did, I told you, whenever you can run the football, Smitty, it makes life easier on whoever's throwing the football. Bryce Young did not have his best day. I mean, 11 to 20, 102 yards and a pick, right? But it didn't matter when I provide 2 touchdowns to Rico Dowdle. And I don't know what's going to go on with him and Chuba, but Rico was kind of, making himself look like number one. Listen, who has been the guy doesn't mean you're going to be the guy moving forward, but the defense showed up. When you start talking about, Christian Robinson and company and those guys, you start talking about what's going to stand out is this. Michael Parsons was on a milk carton, right? Rashad Gary was on a milk carton. They kept the QB, right, clean, even if he didn't have his best passing day. And I kept telling you this, Smitty. A team like the Panthers, I don't like when the headlines say the Panthers shocked Green Bay. What shocked for what? What are you shocked about? No, everybody just assumed that because it was on the road, I'm going to keep saying this. The only thing that builds confidence is evidence. Evidence of what? Winning. And if you are Green Bay is a good team, not a great team. They got a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. And I think for Carolina, they saying, look, we got to beat teams that the NFL don't think we're on par with. And that was an incredible victory. There are people waking up and saying, 16-13, Panthers? Yeah, because Jordan Love is proven to be this. He's a good quarterback until you put pressure on him and you make him have to make throws. Make a throw it over. And that's what I think y'all defense does, Smitty, is they put pressure on people to say, hey, man, we're going to make them play our style of football. We're going to run the football on offense. That's what you do on the road if you didn't know. You run the football. I thought you don't do that when it's cold. No, you do that when it's hot too. Run the football that controls the clock, that controls the momentum, that keeping you ahead of the chains. That's taking pressure off Bryce Young. That's putting all the pressure on the home team. And I forgot to tell the home team that they could be beat because they got beat. They got beat. Respect. That was a really, really, really good win. And like I say, man, Carolina said on to the next at this point.
Yeah. So being there at Lambeau Field, it was quite the scene. Never been there, obviously, bucket list experience for me. The Packer fans were very nice, very cordial. We can go offline later on some more stuff, so it won't bother the listeners. But the things that stuck out to me in this game, though, I already hit it about the Micah Parsons pressures. Panther left tackle Ike Ekwonu was an amazing, probably his best game as a professional, in my opinion. But the 2 things that stick out for me is Jordan Love, Bryce Young both threw horrendous interceptions. Now the wind might have gotten a little bit from both of those, but the interceptions were both awful from both of them. The 4th and 8 that Jordan Love, that was obviously in the stands. Packer fans were, criticizing them not kicking the field goal there on that 4th and 8 play. That was just an absolute wild play. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback run for as many yards as that and then just toss it up there. And Mike Jackson should have had a 99-yard pick 6 going the other way, but alas, he dropped it anyway. And so that was obviously a big momentum shifter. And then Tucker Kraft, unfortunately, going down with a torn ACL. That's the big news from this game. When he left the game, even as a Panthers fan, I'll admit, like, that was a turning point. Like, Tucker Kraft is a darn good player, and that was one of Green Bay's better players. I don't know if you got to see the play where that happened, Ben. It was kind of a friendly fire, but then Nick Scorton, Panthers second-round draft pick, went low on Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan came out and said there's nothing he could do because the block was illegal. Some people were saying it was not legal, or it was legal. It was that's how they're taught. So what in those situations where a player like Tucker Kraft goes down, and it was his own guy, and the own guy's jawing with the other team, like, this guy made an illegal block on me. How does that sit in, like, the locker room? Because obviously a guy like Kraft, for Green Bay, that really hurts. But for obviously every player, they know the rules. They know what they're not supposed to be doing. And obviously some guys try to skirt the rules a little bit, obviously. But did you happen to see that particular play regarding Tucker Kraft and when he got injured?
I did, but I think the thing about it is, too, we got to remember, man, I mean, as a defender, the rules committee is not on your side. Every rule that's in place is really to favor the offense. So if you are a defender, you're erring on the side of caution, but you're there, Smitty. You see how fast these guys are moving in real time.
Yeah.
Like, no one goes to a game trying to hurt or intentionally hurt anything. Can somebody get hurt? Yes. Can it be a split-second decision? Yes. It's fortunate if it's your team, yes, and your player, yes. But I always care about intent more than what happened. What was your intention? Okay, what could you have done better? And you have to live with it. I mean, how many plays they don't holding or in the passer or, unsportsmanlike? These things happen. I think because Kraft is such a big-time player on a team like Green Bay, it's going to be made more up. They're going to ask him about it. He's going to feel bad about it. He's probably going to reach out to Kraft and say, man, it wasn't my intention. But the goal of a defender is to get you on the ground by any means necessary, but they're still trying the confinements of the rules, regulations of the game. But sometimes you get hurt.
Yeah. The other big takeaway, and I'll move on to the next game, was Derek Brown drew 3 holding penalties in a row on that Packers O-line. And Derek Brown continues to be Defensive Player of the Year worthy, in my opinion. And I may be a little biased by saying that, but he continues to just have there for Carolina is Derek Brown. Absolutely a menace.
If Derek Brown played for a bigger team, he would be getting more publicity. If Derek Brown played for a team like New York or Los Angeles or Chicago, those caliber of teams, he would be getting more love. But guess what? He don't got to play for a team like that. He plays for the Carolina Panthers. He's probably the best defender in football right now. And you feel bad for defenders like, Fred Warner, those type of guys who hurt. But Derek Brown is a man child. Ask any offensive lineman that goes up against Derek Brown. They say that they go to that meeting room going, who in the world? Derek Brown doesn't like offensive linemen. And sometimes he's double teamed, sometimes he gets triple teamed. But if you want to know why this defense is thriving, because those guys on the outside, they are getting single block. They are getting one-on-ones with these tackles, and they playing a lot better. So yeah, Derek Brown doesn't surprise me. I remember Derek Brown at Auburn, man. Derek Brown has been a problem since he came out. They said it's a boy. He's a problem. Oh, I'm just telling y'all, I just hope that the league start recognizing guys like Brown, who has been a premier interior defensive lineman since he got drafted.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I said, great experience in Lambeau. We'll talk more about that offline, but just an all-around great performance, from the Packers organization. Really loved being able to be there and just enjoying that game, bucket list item. Panthers are 5-4. Denver Broncos emerged victorious over the Houston Texans, 18-15 in Houston, 7-2 are the Broncos now, and Texans fall to 3-5. The big news out of this, obviously, is C.J. Stroud leaving with a concussion there for the Texans, and it's shocking that honestly that the hit wasn't more kind of that was a bad hit on C.J. Stroud if I'm being honest. And then R.G. Harvey for the Broncos. First rookie running back with a receiving touchdown in 3 straight games since 1970.
The Broncos are probably one of the most impressive teams in the National Football League that people ain't talking about enough. Bo Nix, 18 to 37, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. J.K. Dobbins, 15 for 61. R.J. Harvey, as you mentioned, a touchdown. Cortland Sutton, a touchdown. And you look at this Houston Texas team. If C.J. Stroud is going to be out, that's going to be really, really bad for them because he was 6 for 10, 79 yards. Davis Mills comes in 17 for 30, 137 yards. No touchdowns for either quarterback. This Houston Texas team is going in the wrong direction. And it didn't, and it is not happening because C.J. Stroud just got cussed and all these type of things. I don't know what it is about this third year. D'Amico Ryans and this team hasn't found a way to get in line, get in step with each other. And it's going to be, if C.J. Stroud is going to miss significant time because of concussion, that's not going to bode well for them. They are good enough to be contending in the AFC. So they are just not doing it. Right now, the Denver Broncos are playing like the Kansas City Chiefs should be playing. Bo Nix and company is getting it done, man. They getting it done in a lot of ways. And dare I say, that could be the team to be watching the AFC as the season rolls on.
Let's go to New England, where the Atlanta Falcons, your Atlanta Falcons, fall 24-23 to the New England Patriots. Patriots now 7-2 on the year. Falcons falling to 3-5. You mentioned about Raheem Morris. You can get into that if you'd like. But Drake May, 200-plus passing yards and a pass rating over 100 in 8 straight games, tied with Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning for second all-time.
Drake made 19 to 29, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Travion Henderson got his first start as a pro, 14 rushes, 55 yards. Demario Douglas, 4 for 100, another touchdown. Hunter Henry, 4 for 51. Stephon Diggs, 3 for 38, had a real nice touchdown. They got Drake London going, 9 for 18, 118. 9 for 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kyle Pitts had 4 for 38. Bijan Robinson had 8 for 50. This is where I have a problem again. Bijan Robinson, 12 rushes, 46 yards. You gave him the ball 12 times running the football. That's not – you gave him, 8 touches in all because he had 8 catches. But Michael Penix, 22 or 37, 221 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. This Falcon team has no identity. They will play really, really well, and then they'll fall off a cliff. They'll play really, really well again. They'll fall off a cliff. I don't really know what to go off them, but I would say this about Raheem Morris. Right now, Raheem Morris is looking more like a motivational speaker than a good football coach because clock management not there. Making sure that you stand above ahead of the chains, not there. Knowing when to call timeouts, when not to call timeouts is not there. 7-2 for a guy that missed all of 2020, that missed most of last year. But I just think that when I think about this Falcons team, they're not contending right now. We're gonna see what's gonna happen with this Falcon team come the end of this year because Michael Penix is essentially still a rookie because he only played in 4 games last year. Drake London is proven to be a top 10 receiver. Stephon Diggs goes up to him after the game, says, "I love your game, and you emerge a star. You a star in this league. 3 touchdowns, and some games they won't even try to get in the rock." So the better team won, but I just thought it's like this, Smitty. I don't want to lose 24-23. I'd rather lose 24-10. I don't want to lose by a point because that means that's how close you were. But hey, man, one team is trending in the right direction. The other team trying to figure out their identity.
The other thing, I apologize for the listeners who are like, okay, he's going to go back to the Panthers again. I was just going to mention one thing about Bryce Young that I saw as a stat just now that I was unaware of. Yesterday was Bryce's 9th game-winning drive since 2023, his rookie year. That is tied for the most in the NFL over that time span with Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Geno Smith.
Bryce Young, when given the opportunity to put his team in a position to win, comes up clutch. Everybody wants to judge you on what you haven't done because they don't want to see how significant it is as far as like what you have done. And the thing about a guy like Bryce Young, they don't win that game if he's not a quarterback. I don't think Correct. If Andy Dalton starts a game, goes a total different way, regardless of what he did and didn't do throwing the football. Correct. I believe that the confidence that he brings from his teammates when he's in the game is showing. You won 16-13, running the football, playing solid defense. That's a sign of a team going in the right direction. It's telling Bryce Young, dude, you don't have to be your best for us to win. You just can't be bad for us to win. And I think that's the sign of a good quarterback. Because Andy Dalton, nobody wants Bryce Young to play more than Andy Dalton. I guarantee you that.
The San Francisco 49ers 6-3 on the year, take down the New York Giants 34-24. Giants now 2-7. Mac Jones once again in for Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey sets an NFL record, his 16th career game with a rushing and receiving score, passing Marshall Faulk, Hall of Famer.
Mac Jones 19-24, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. You mentioned Christian McCaffrey 28 rushes, 106 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 catches, 67 yards and a touchdown. Juwan Jennings 4 for 41 and a touchdown. Jackson Dart, 24-33, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns, no running game. Jackson Dart led all rushes to 8 for 56 and a touchdown. Darius Slayton had 5 for 62. One day Robinson had 9 for 46. One day Robinson said after the game he's tired of losing. And I get it. I think if you are the New York Football Giants, you want to say, hey man, could this be a year with this pass rush that we have? With Brian, we talk about Burns, when you talk about, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, can we contend with a young quarterback? Jackson Dart is really, really exciting, but that doesn't win games. And I think because of how he started his first start and he beat the Chargers, people thought, oh, we got something. Cataboo goes out, last week. It's going to be hard for this guy. I don't see the Giants winning a lot of games towards the end of the year because I think their formula is out. They're going to try to be exciting on offense, try to get a solid run game, try to get after the quarterback on defense. And if that doesn't work, it's going to be a long year. And I give a lot of credit to Mac Jones, though. Mac Jones has filled in beautifully for Brock Purdy. I mean, they've dealt with the injury bug on their side, as well. And dare I say, Mac Jones, just like Sam Darnold, these guys is in new places. You're starting off as fill-ins. You've got to have a solid backup to make sure that the season doesn't go off the rails. And Mac Jones have done a beautiful job. And like I say, they keep it pace. And the NFC West is going to be very, very competitive. I think the class of the NFC West right now is still the Rams. I think the Seattle Seahawks are right there. And obviously you got the San Francisco 49ers. It could be a 3-man race as far as who's going to win the division or who's going to be wild cards. But shout out to them 49ers for sticking with their winning ways.
Let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, my team of the week, 27-20 over the Indianapolis Colts. Colts 7-2 now. Steelers at 5-3 on the year. Colts the first team since 1950 to have 2 more turnovers in a game than they had the entire season entering that game in week 8 or later.
This right here goes back to old school, old fashioned Pittsburgh defense. I think they caused like 6 turnovers. TJ Watt and company got into the mix. They were all over Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had to be reminded of why you're having a good season. And I know you guys are looking to be the class of the AFC. We are usual suspects over here. And what they did is what I say the only formula you can to beat Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor, 14 rushes, 45 yards. Daniel Jones, 3 rushes, 4 yards and a touchdown. Alec Pierce had 6 catches, 115 yards. Michael Pittman Jr. had 9 for 115. Joshua Downs had 6 for 57. But here's another thing. Daniel Jones, 31 of 50. 50 passes, 50 throws or a lot of 342 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. It's going to be hard to beat anybody. Now, they only lost by 7 points. But I think for this Pittsburgh team, they saying whenever we can get turnovers and give more opportunities back to the offense, I mean, that's only going to bode well for them. Aaron Rodgers, 25 for 35, 203 yards and a touchdown. I mean, the running game wasn't really there. Calvin also had 5 catches, 56 yards. Darnell Washington had 4 for 43. I mean, they literally neutralized. DK Metcalf had 2 catches for 6 yards. And they lost, and they still won the game. So if you are Pittsburgh, something to feel great about to let people know we still play good football. And if you're a coach, everybody's going to lose one. If you're going to lose to a team, make sure it's a good team. Bounce back and see what happens week 10.
The Los Angeles Chargers now 6-3 on the year, but lose Joe Alt to a season-ending ankle injury. Tennessee Titans 20, now 1-8 on the year. Obviously in the mix for that number 1 overall pick. Justin Herbert had an early pick 6 in this game, but he passed Matt Ryan for the 5th most passing yards by a player in their first 6 seasons in NFL history.
Justin Herbert was able to shake off a pick 6. I mean, to still go 19-29, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns in that pick. I mean, Justin Herbert also led their team in rushing 9 for 57. And the thing about the Chargers, both of their starting running backs are, out for the year right now. So the fact that, their running game, with Jared Patterson and Kamani Vital, it's gonna be a long year. Aronde Gas in the second had 5 catches, 68 yards. But I got to give a shout out to the Titans. Yes, they lost the game, right? Cam Ward, 12 for 21, 145 yards. You talk about Tony Pollard, 10 for 56. You look at the 20 points, right? And you start saying, what that was from pick 6s and things. that was from a pick six, and DK had, I think, a punt return. Think about that. DK had a punt return. They had a pick six. That's their points, and they kicked 2 field goals. This Titans team with Coach McCoy, I'm praying for those guys. I mean that. It is hard to watch the Titans on offense because there is nobody, and I mean nobody on that offense that threatens or scares anybody on opposing defenses. Nobody. Cam Ward has athleticism. You talk about the run game with Pollard and company, and Chiggs and those guys on, Van Jefferson, and those guys. They don't. DK, they're doing the best they can, but it was very competitive. But the Chargers said to themselves, "We're not losing to the Titans. I don't care. We throw a pick six. We're not losing to the Titans," and that's what happened. And right now, the Titans are still in line to be the number 1 overall pick. It's going to be between them or the Jets or the Saints.
Yep.
But they did play hard. They didn't lay down. It was a group. It was a team effort, but they still came up a little bit short.
And just to make sure I heard you correctly, Mike McCoy, interim coach of the Titans. I think you might have said Colt McCoy.
I said Coach McCoy.
Oh, Coach. Okay, Colt McCoy, former NFL quarterback, former Texas Longhorn. Good career in the NFL as mostly a backup. Los Angeles Rams 34, the New Orleans Saints 10. Rams 6-2 on the year. New Orleans also, like the Titans, have a 1-8 record. Matthew Stafford, the 4th player in NFL history to have 20-plus passing touchdowns and 2 or fewer interceptions in their first 8 games of a season, joining and Tom Brady.
I do not know who the best receiver is in football, but I can tell you who is one of the best. His name is Puka Nacua, 7 for 95 in a touchdown, a beautiful touchdown that he had. Kyron Williams had 25 rushes, 114 yards in a touchdown. You mentioned Matthew Stafford, 24, 32, 281 yards, 4 touchdowns at 37 years young. Tyler Shaw, man. 15 to 24, 176 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Taysom Hill, he's back. 4 rushes, 30 yards. I will say this about the Saints. The Saints are doing all they can, but it's rough. It's rough. And the thing about this Rams team, they know they got the Seahawks. They know they got the 49ers. And right now, the Arizona Cardinals are beating the Dallas Cowboys 17-7. I respect what Matthew Stafford is doing because he's doing it at the age and stage of his career to show that, look, I wasn't a fluke when I went over there, when I was over there with Detroit, and when I came over to the Rams, they won a Super Bowl with him and Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Cooper Kupp and company. I believe that when you think about what a guy like Matthew Stafford is, he is built for what Sean McVay is trying to do in that Rams system. So very, very impressed. It was against the Saints, but they are an NFL franchise. They still get paid to play football. But this is all about the Rams,
A weird game in overtime. The Jacksonville Jaguars 30-29 over. Sorry, let's try that again. 30-29 over the Las Vegas Raiders. Jacksonville now 5-3 on the year. Las Vegas down to 2-6. Jacksonville ended up winning the game after the Raiders went for 2 and failed. Brock Bowers was the leading culprit, kind of leading them back in this game. But this was the first game been in NFL history that had multiple touchdowns scored in overtime and saw the most points scored in overtime, 13.
I mean, the thing about this, there was so much scoring going on. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was 23 of 34, 220 yards and a pick. Travis Etienne had 24 rushes, 84 yards, and obviously Tootin had a touchdown, and Trevor Lawrence had 2 rushing touchdowns. Parker Washington had 9 for 90. Brian Thomas Jr. had 3 for 55, which his name has come up in trade talks. But this was about Brock Bowers. Geno Smith was 29 to 39, 284 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. Ashton Jeanty still really hasn't found his way. 13 rushes, 42 yards. Brock Bowers, 12 catches, 127 yards, 3 tubs. Ashton Jeanty, 5 for 47 and a tub. This Raiders team is real similar to the Titans. They're not going to win a lot of football games because there is no culture, there is no foundation outside of Brock Bowers, outside of Max Crosby. I don't know what they thought Geno Smith, what Coach Carroll was going to do. I know that Coach Carroll and Geno Smith, made magic in Seattle. This ain't Seattle. This is Vegas. And I will say while the Jaguars got the win, it's still a curious case of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is up and down, hot and cold. He's good sometimes. He's bad sometimes. He makes good decisions, make a bad decision. But I will say this. I heard some news that Travis Hunter, while on the IR right now, they said that as long as Jacksonville keeps winning and they got a shot to make the playoffs, he will indeed come back. But if they start losing and the season gets out of hand, they'll just call it a season for him. But Trayvon Walker, former number 1 overall pick out of Georgia, did get ejected from the game for throwing a punch. Hey man, you got to keep emotions under control, young man.
Travis Hunter went on IR earlier last week, so obviously he did not play in this game. And everyone, of course, was talking about Cam Little as well, a 70-yarder in the preseason and a 68-yarder yesterday, resetting that longest all-time field goal record with few yards to spare. But then he misses extra points. So kickers are wild, in the NFL. But shout out to Cam Little for making history as well there for the Jacksonville Jaguars in that winning effort. The Buffalo Bills 28-21 over the Kansas City Chiefs. The Buffalo Bills 6-2 now on the year. Kansas City down to 5-4. But this is just how the Bills like to do it. Josh Allen now with his 5th win over Patrick Mahomes, tied with 5-5 under the regular season. Kansas City likes to, get them back in the playoffs. And until Josh Allen's able to do that, that's going to be the story with this Bills-Chiefs rivalry. But this is now Josh Allen's 47th career game with 1 or more passing touchdowns and 1 or more rushing touchdowns, now the most in NFL history.
Hey, you mentioned it. Patrick Mahomes, 15-34, right? 250 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. Kareem Hunt, 11 rushes, 49 yards and a touchdown. Rashee Rice had 2 rushes, 6 yards and a touchdown. Rashee Rice also had 4 catches, 80 yards. Hollywood Brown, 2 for 73. But this is all about the Bills, though. Josh Allen, 23 of 26, 273 yards and a touchdown. James Cook, 27 rushing, 142 yards. And then Josh Allen, you mentioned 6 for 19, 2 rushing touchdowns. Ty Johnson had a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid led all receivers, 6 for 101 and a touch. The Bills defense knew that in order to beat Kansas City, they got to neutralize Kansas City's offense, Patrick Mahomes in particular. And that's what they did. Played center defense all game long. And the thing about Josh Allen, he understands this. I'm only gonna get respect when I beat guys like Patrick Mahomes. Take nothing away from, I got to beat guys like Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, those caliber of quarterbacks and teams, because those are the type of teams either I'm gonna have to meet in the playoffs, AFC Championship game, or dare I say the Super Bowl. But very, very impressed by the Bills. They was able to get a big bounce back win. And it was a great game. It was a back and forth game. But I just think that what the Bills said, we got to have a really, really solid defense of us, Sean, and we got to play efficient on offense. That's what they did. And Josh Allen has proven why he is the reigning MVP and one of the best to do it in the league.
And then on Sunday Night Football, 38-14, Sam Darnold. I could have made him my player of the week, but I did. But I had many choices, as I said. The Seattle Seahawks 6-2 overall. Washington Commanders down to 3-6. But the big story is Sam Darnold joining Tom Brady as the only player since 2000, including the playoffs, with a touchdown pass and no completions on each of their team's first 4 drives of a game. I mean, he was basically near perfect at halftime. And obviously the big news, Jaden Daniels going down with that elbow injury where it kind of got peeled back like a banana and didn't look too good. He's obviously going to be out indefinitely. Marcus Mariota is going to get the keys going forward. So just not a competitive Sunday Night Football game at all. But Sam Darnold and the Seahawks emerged victorious.
Yeah. Sam Darnold just put on a clinic. I mean, 21 to 24, 330 yards, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Kenneth Walker had 11 for 42. Jackson Smith and Nick was showing why he's one of the best receivers. Some people got him the best receiver in the league. I mean, 8 for 129. Cody White had 1 for 16, a touchdown, and Torrey Horton had 4 for 48 and 2 touchdowns. And Elijah Arroyo had 2 for 29 and a touchdown. But Jaden Daniels, 16 to 22, 153 yards and a pick. I know he had 10 rushes, 51 yards and a touchdown. And Chris Rodriguez Jr. had 12 for 65 and a touchdown. If Zach Ertz still getting down with 4 for 46, I think one of only 8 tight ends or something that have over 800 catches in his career. Jaden Daniels been in the game way too long in his shit, and I know that Coach Quinn comes down and said that's on me, but he's gonna be out. And I don't really know how to take a coach saying a player was in there too long. He's an NFL player. You pay him to be in the game. Don't say a player was in there too long when a player gets hurt. People get hurt. It's unfortunate, but people get hurt. But the Seahawks put on a clinic. That was a clinic. At one point, I'm like, dude, who? Sam Darnold. I think he's the former number 3 overall pick, and Jaden Daniels, former number 2 overall pick. But this is all about the Seattle Seahawks getting it done, keeping pace in a in a very, very competitive NFC West. Shout out to them Seahawks.
And then on Monday Night Football, currently at halftime, the Arizona Cardinals 17-7 over the Dallas Cowboys. Currently at halftime, Marvin Harrison has a touchdown. Jacoby Brissett has a 1-yard touchdown. And the Dallas Cowboys blocked a punt and returned that for a touchdown for their only points on the board. Really been, regardless of who wins this game, since we aren't going to be finding that out while we're recording, just a quick comment as we go into Week 10. Is Kyler Murray, I said this in the offseason, is Kyler Murray going to be on the Cardinals next year? Financially, he might be, just like Tua with the Dolphins, but there's a pathway here. I mean, Jacoby Brissett has started for a while now, and I don't think all of it's necessarily injury related.
I don't think Kyler Murray is going to be on the Cardinals next year for this reason, Smitty. You already know what you're going to get from him. You might get some overinflated numbers because a lot of these games might be out of hand. He's going to give you some good passing numbers, but I think Kyler Murray has proven just like he needs to change the scenery. He has plenty of talent left. He has plenty of plenty left in the tank. It's just Arizona is not that much different than a Cleveland. That's where quarterbacks go to die. They don't really do anything. Where Kurt Warner took him to a Super Bowl, the same Kurt Warner that took the Rams to a Super Bowl. Carson Palmer done been out there. It's just hard to see a quarterback having success on a team that doesn't have any culture, that has good players, but it's not going to mean anything because you got to beat the Rams. You got to beat the Seahawks, right? And you got to beat the 49ers. That's not going to happen. So for me, they're going to find a way to get out of that country. Somebody will pick them up because a lot of teams still need quarterback help. We just the $1 million question is going to be who is going to take a chance when they won Kyler Murray.
Well, let's end this podcast with our preview of Week 10, top 5 games to watch, and our toilet bowl. Ben, I will let you go first. What you got for week number 10 as we officially cross into the halfway point or second half of the NFL season?
My number 5 game, even though I kind of know how they're going to go, it's going to be Falcons-Colts. Both teams coming off losses. The Falcons, came up 1 point short. The Colts kind of got humbled a little bit. I want to see how the Falcons are going to play. Both teams coming off a bounce back, even though the Falcons usually coming off a bounce back loss every freaking week. My number 4, man, give me Rams 49ers. I think that's going to be a really, really good game. Mac Jones, man, you talk about what he's been doing, and you look at what Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford want to do, on offense. I think that's going to be a really, really good one. My number 3, Eagles, Packers. The Packers defense didn't show up. They're going to have to show up this week because they're going to have to deal with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. We're going to see if they want to earn their check, and I think they're going to have a chance to do it, and it's going to be in Lambeau. My number 2, Steelers, Chargers. Both of them get big wins, and I just think that this is a Chargers team that's gonna have a lot of respect for the Steelers, but the Steelers got to go on the road, and I don't know what about them teams. They got to go to the West Coast and use the both well for the West Coast team. I'm looking forward to that. And my number 1, Ravens, Vikings. JJ McCartney got to prove I could do it 2 weeks in a row. The Ravens coming off a big win, the Vikings coming off a big win. It's gonna be a fast track because they're gonna be in Minnesota, and they ain't really it's cold, but it ain't started snowing yet. So even though I think they're in the dome, so I don't think it's really going to matter. They are in the dome. So it's going to be a fast track. Give me Ravens, Vikings, my number 1. And my toilet bowl, do I even got to say Browns, Jets? Good Lord. Like, really? Like,
enough said. I'll get that out of the way. My toilet bowl is also the Brown Jets. Okay, enough said. All right. Toilet bowl, Browns, Jets. For those who have to watch that game, I'm sorry. Okay. My number 5 is your number 1, Ravens, Vikings. Going to be a great game. Can J.J. McCarthy and company get their second straight win and really put the Ravens on the brink of getting knocked out of the playoffs contention there at this game. My number 4 is Patriots Bucks. Can the Patriots continue their winning ways? This soft schedule kind of ramps up now. They got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. That's going to be a tough game for New England rather, and Drake May. Can they get to 8-2? That's going to be a tough game though down there in Tampa. My number 3 is I just had it. Steelers Chargers Sunday Night Football. Can the Steelers keep pace with the Ravens, who are I say keep pace? They're first place, but I feel like the Ravens are coming with Lamar and everybody back, and the Chargers dealing with those injuries. Even out in SoFi, they should be able to win that game. My number 2 is Rams 49ers. Can the 49ers sweep the Rams? They won back in SoFi Stadium. Can they sweep there in Levi Stadium? And then my number 1 is Eagles Packers from Lambeau, where Ryan was just at. Give me Eagles Packers. Packers, I think, are going to beat the Eagles. I think they're going to come back in a very amazing way next week, rather. There from Lambeau on Monday Night Football. As a side note, Ben, if my Panthers beat the Saints, they will have 6 wins, which will be more than last year's win total of 5 wins. But hey,
I'm not saying anything is automatic, but that's almost automatic. I got them getting that 6 win this weekend.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been Winning the Division, episode number 72. Week 9 is in the books. We go on to week 10. As we say here at Winning the Division, you are either winning your division or you are just in your division. Keep it locked here for more episodes. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Keep Pounding Podcast Network, Fans First Sports Network, Tobacco Road Sports Radio YouTube channel, and leave your questions, leave your comments. Let us know how we're doing. We always look to improve. We do this show for you guys. And again, rate, review, and subscribe. We will see you next time.